clean. I'm,
well, you know, every now and then.
If I'd have known it, I would have gotten a little more dressed up. But at any rate, man, it's good to see you.
I was thinking about Robin. I stopped by here. It's just unfortunate, you know.
You know, we could be sad, but let's don't be sad about it, man, because Robin was full of life. I tell you, boy, what a lady, what a lady. And her mother, you know, Miss Cabiness.
Yeah, her mother was, oh man, you know.
Her name was Cabiness at that time. But we were all in love with Mrs. Cabiness. she was our teacher, and we had Mrs. Cabiness, who was a teacher, and then her brother Butch and I were Boy Scouts together. Matter of fact, we got our Star Scout badge at the same time.
Man, you got a good memory.
Yeah. but when did you first meet Robin?
Well, Robin, I was in college here, and Robin was in high school at the time, you know. But I watched her as she became an adult and coming back and forth.
When? Robin never grew up. No.
She carried on her mother, Booker T. Washington legacy quite well. She represented them well, and I was quite pleased with Robin.
She did, and I say that joking about her not growing up. She was really full of fun, but she was also very, very serious about that Booker T. Washington legacy.
Now, she's going to be missed. No doubt about that.
Really, really. And I knew her not only here in Tuskegee, but she spent some time in Chicago.
You remember we had the World Conference?
Exactly. Yeah, that's right. You were there, right? Yeah. Councilman Peterson, that was his last trip. You know, Pete Peterson.
Had a reception at Mayor Washington.
Mayor Harold Washington's office.
The mayor's office.
Yeah, Robin was there, and then we had the big festival with Nancy Wilson.
There you go.
Down on the pier, and Robin just
was right there with us.
Yeah, she had a great time. And then she came back here and got involved with the Chamber of Commerce and tourism and all of that kind of stuff. But
I'm gonna tell you, like you told me, I think she liked you as mayor.
But Robin was really something. In your case, you had a chance to be at the high school and worked at the university as well. So you had a chance to see her from all of those.
Kid up, you know, although she caught up with me.
And in recent years, Mr. Mayor, she would always come back for the 4th of July. Well, first of all, they'd always come back for Founders Day.
Right.
Tell us about Founders Day. That's the day.
Well, that was our favorite time, to come back and go all around through the campus, revitalizing the legacy of Booker T. That was her thing, you know. I mean, you could sit down with Robin, she would start showing the pictures, you know, and just talk for days. Oh, she was going to be missed from this community, but not only that, she was going to be missed. There's going to be a void in perpetuating that legacy, because nobody could do it like Robin.
Robin was just, I mean, Robin was Robin. Her brother, Butch, as I said, he and I were schoolmates and Boy Scouts together, and we didn't see much of Butch except when he came back for a funeral. For example, his brother David died earlier, and we all participated in that funeral, and Butch spoke then. But now we're just going to have to try to reach out and build that relationship with her brother Butch.
Carry on.
Yeah, and Butch's son.
His son, she got a son too.
Yeah, the younger one.
Yeah.
And then 4th of July, I was about to say, and I'm reminded of Jimmy Johnson. You know, Jimmy and Robin had a special relationship because they both were so proud of the Tuskegee Booker T. Washington historic legacy.
Absolutely.
But every 4th of July, she'd come back and she'd organize this commemoration in honor of Booker.
Absolutely.
Because Tuskegee University, you know, was founded when? July 4th, 1881. So every 4th of July, Robin would come back and we'd have a ceremony on campus at the grave site. And And what she also liked to do is she could go through that graveyard
Oh, yeah.
and point out where
Everybody is all
yeah,
relatives.
Mary, Margaret Murray, and the other former wives of Booker T, and 4 parents of hers, relatives of hers. But she was just really, really great. And full of life. Love the party. She used to. I don't know her.
Stop by here with you, brother, man. I'm going to run, brother, man.
Okay, well, thanks so much. And we're going to work to try to keep alive the memory of Robin.
Please.
Robin Washington Banks.
Any way I can help you do that?
You got it. Let's do it.
We'll do it.
Okay? Let's do it.
We started celebrating the opening of the school. My mother always said, if you see something that needs to be done, do it. I booked myself into Kellogg one July. I left the hotel on July 4th, walked out on a day similar to this. It was gorgeous. And there were tourists on campus, but no one knew it was the birthday of this school. And I said, that should not be. Our reach, Tuskegee University's reach, is so vast, so far, that this day should be a huge celebration in this town. So here we are. Each year we grow. Last year it rained. We were under the awning at Kellogg. I'm very happy to say we are back here today. A 35 years ago, a man named Lewis Adams. Well, ain't this special? Look at you, Foster. Hi, baby. Lewis Adams and his wife, what was her name? Sally?
Sally.
Lewis Adams and his wife, Sally, started teaching trades to the emancipated slaves. And they were so overwhelmed by the task that Lewis wanted a school. Mr. George Campbell of the community, a prominent man, went to Lewis Adams and said, Lewis, Mr. Foster here is running for state legislature and would like for you to deliver the black vote. And so Lewis did that, but with one condition, that he get a school out of it. And so we gathered today, 133 years later, to celebrate that. But I want you specifically to understand that we are here to give praise to God. Yes. Because it was God who answered Lewis Adams' prayer. And it was not just $2,000. God kept blessing Lewis and sent Booker T. Washington, who we know built the school. Okay? So you can discuss from now until the cows come in who founded the school, but I would say God founded the school. These are hallowed grounds. We come to give praise that we have been blessed personally to be able to have this experience. This celebration, 133rd, we have a new president. And I have a vision that one day Tuskegee University will have an Atlanta exhibition program of sorts on this campus to raise awareness about what we do here, about the programs. Schools and departments will showcase. We'll have a parade of farmers from the county bringing in their crops to sample and sell. We'll have barbecue cook-offs and contests and cake baking contests. We'll have activities for children and book signings and just a bunch of activities on this campus. I would like to see on July 4th on this campus and in this town a huge celebration.
What a great opportunity, though, too, living history here with these families. Talk about how special it is, not only to the university and the history of it, but to your families.
There are some who are just beginning to learn of their history and the connection. For me, I was born on this campus, and I have been on this campus for almost 60-something years, off and on. So I know it. I live it. I come to the grave where most of the graves are of the Washington family to speak to the elders, to get the spirit in me to do what I do. And what I do is write children's books. Robin Washington Banks, you can Google me for more information, or order the books. I have 3 published to date. And I believe that a way to address the racial divide in our country, because Booker said that we could be as separate as the fingers on the hand in all things social, but we must be one as the fist in all things for economic progress. I believe transforming the character of America would take away the color issue, take away the religious issue, because character has no color, it has no religion. So I'm working on doing that. My speech today at the Skiggy Jam reunion is about character. All of my books are about character in some way. My latest is Little Jasmine Sticks and Stones, a story about cyberbullying and how a girl overcomes it because she has good character. Being a member of the family growing up was not popular. I'm a child of the 60s, and you didn't talk about Booker T. Washington back in the 60s. I have learned to embrace my heritage, and I now stand up and promote it. The historical events that we are celebrating this 4th of July. That thread is teamwork. When my great-grandfather gave his last Sunday evening talk to the students in October of 1915, he talked about teamwork. Basically, he said that a member of the team goes beyond and above to achieve the goal of the team. Teachers' lessons should be prepared so well that they engage the students, stimulate the students' desire to learn, and lessons that are exciting enough to keep the students interested. The students were to go to class prepared and on time every day. They were to make being at Tuskegee worth the extra effort for the team. In sports, everyone has a different position, but everyone on the team is playing the same game, has the same goal. Similarities are more important than differences, and you can read all about those similarities and differences in my recently published book, Big Boy, which I will be signing immediately following the service. Teamwork was evident when the founding fathers of this country defeated the most powerful military at the time in the world, the British, using guerrilla warfare. And that strategy required an immense amount of teamwork. Even today's event, which had never been celebrated before today, was the result of teamwork. Yes, I had the idea, just like Lewis Adams. But without the team, we would not be here. There was Verna Little in the president's office, and Janine Tate and Mr. McLean in the marketing office, Joe Ellsbury in the mayor and city manager's office, and Bobby Davis at the bank. And there was Margie's Florist on Main Street, and Joyce Carter German and Rosemary Taylor and Doris Mason, Alfreda, Sheila, Ginger, Charlie T. and Lynn, and of course Jackie Carlisle at the Tuskegee News and Butler Chapel, AME Zion Church.
Mayor of Tuskegee, I am honored to remember Robin Washington. Robin Washington Banks was very, very special to the city and to me personally. We worked closely together in promoting Tuskegee as a national tourist attraction, a destination point. Robin exemplified what was best about the Washington family. She never forgot the legacy and the high standards established by Booker T. Washington himself. And that tradition was handed down to Robin, particularly through her mother, Mrs. Cabiness, who was my teacher. But Robin learned an awful lot from her parents, but she also personally, deep in her heart and her soul, she was a Washington through and through. Not only did she look like Booker T. Washington, a beautiful Washington, but her mind was bright and brilliant. She was a hard-working, conscientious person. She loved Tuskegee University, that campus, having grown up on that campus, having gone to school there on campus. She just exemplified what was best about a graduate of Tuskegee University. Not only was she involved here in this community, but Robin was noted nationally for speaking on behalf of the Washington family and the Booker T. Washington legacy. She was a great public speaker, and she often lectured about the Booker T. Washington legacy, sharing information that many people never knew about Booker T. Washington, what made him the man that he was. You know, Booker T. Washington was not only a great educator, but he was a great political leader as well. He was responsible for the National Business League. He was responsible for the National Bar Association. He was filing lawsuits for voting rights at the turn of the century. He was responsible for building John A. Andrew Hospital. Booker T. Washington was a multi-faceted person who stood. There's an old saying, give me a place to stand and I'll move the world. Well, Booker T. Washington stood here in tiny Tuskegee, yet he moved Black America. He was the man. Nothing really went down in Black America without Booker T. Washington. And Robin just took that legacy of Booker T. Washington because he was involved in so many historic breakthroughs in health, in education, in politics, in business. And Robin told that story wherever she went. Robin also had a great passion for children and her writings and her books and her ministry in terms of inspiring young people at an early age in the philosophy of Booker T. Washington, teaching them about Booker T. Washington. Many times it's surprising today, many African American students don't know their Black history. Robin had a personal goal and had a charge to keep in terms of making sure that young children knew who Booker T. Washington was, what he stood for, what his principles were, what his teachings were, what he did and what he accomplished at Tuskegee and what Tuskegee University, his philosophy of lifting the veil of ignorance. Robin, boy, she told that story. And not only that, she loved her family because she spearheaded the family reunion activities. Many times the family held reunions at the Oaks, where they came from throughout the country, assembled back here in Tuskegee. She also was a proud protector of the Booker T. Washington name. If someone wanted to have a product named Washington or Booker T. Washington or in honor of Booker T. Washington, she made sure that it was a quality product, and she made sure that the family signed off on it before they were able to use that Booker T. Washington name. So what are we going to do here in our city? We're going to remember Robin because she was the closest link that we had to the Booker T. Washington family. As I indicated earlier, her brother Marshall and I were Boy Scouts together. We were students together, and her mother taught me and other students. But it was Robin herself who was our link with the Washington heritage and the Washington culture and the Washington philosophy. And so we're going to remember Robin. We're going to refer to her often. I would perhaps name something in honor of Robin Washington Banks to make sure that this community never forgets her, because she never let us forget Booker T. Washington. And so I say now, as I said at her memorial service, so long, Robin. Sleep on, my sweet sister. We will see you in the morning in the by and by. You will never be forgotten. We will hold high your memory, and we will treasure the work that you did in keeping alive the Booker T. Washington legacy in Tuskegee, Alabama, the home of Tuskegee University, the pride of the swift-growing South. Thank you.